Yeah, I think that's a good question. And I think it depends on how young and what kind of time scale. In the near and medium term, there's clearly going to be enormous demand for AI researchers, robot engineers, and so on. But the difficulty there is that there'll still be a high threshold for entry into these professions in terms of education, mathematical preparation, and so on. And the number of jobs is not going to be close to filling the gap if most of the jobs that we currently have go away. And a simple way of thinking is that we've used most of the human race as robots for the last 10,000 years or so. And now that period is coming to an end. And we have to have a different way of doing things. So if you think that, okay, most routine mental and physical labor will be done by machines, then the likely, what is the comparative advantage of human beings? Well, it's that they're human. That's the thing we have left. And there are things that humans want humans to do, including things like helping with bringing up children, having lunch, various kinds of coaching and inspiration and consolation, companionship, and maybe other kinds of, we might call these psychological services if you want. I mean, all of the current ways we have of talking about this, the caring professions, they all, they sound good from the point of view of the provider. Oh, you're a carer, that's great. But they sort of have this connotation of dependency for the recipient. And that probably is not the right way to think about it. What we need to be able to do is to more think of this as almost like an engineering discipline, that we want psychology and the humanities to be a bit more like engineering, is that we have a lot of basic science on which we can build predictable methods and training programs to teach people those methods, just as we have for surgeons, right? We do a lot of basic science to support what surgeons do, and we train them, and when they fix your broken leg, it works, and that's great, and that's why they get paid. If most of the time it didn't work, we wouldn't pay them, and that's sort of the situation with a lot of these professions right now, these sort of softer professions. And that's just really just a consequence of, number one, the difficulty of the problem, that the human mind is really, really complicated. We don't know how to fix it very well compared to the body. And just the emphasis of our technological civilization, that we put resources and people into the hard sciences, the sciences that produce a cell phone, for example. We probably, if you sort of work back down the tree, maybe it's $1 trillion, maybe it's $10 trillion in research and development effort in many different disciplines to produce the cell phone. But we haven't put not even 1% of that into how do you make it possible for someone to have a rich and fulfilling life, right? And that science and that engineering and those professions are going to be the future.